All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a meetup for your group. So from your group page on Campfire, if you go into meetups, and then if you click on that little calendar up at the top, you can then bring this up. Typically, you're going to be clicking on custom because most of the time you're not kind of making a meetup in that short of time. So that will then bring up this page. However you want to name your meetup, it's kind of up to you. I like kind of doing this one. So I'm just creating our meetup for our spotlight hour next week. So then you select your date, start time, end time. Now for your start time and end time, after meeting with Brandon Tan, who's kind of been going around and hanging out with a bunch of other Campfire groups, he had actually recommended setting your start time for 15 minutes before the actual event and then letting it go for 15 minutes beyond the event, as just as a way to kind of help get people there on time and to give them more of a window to be able to actually check in to the event. So for our description, I've got some stuff on the clipboard already. So I have a description, which isn't a bad idea to actually use a little bit more words here because you'd actually be surprised who does read everything. So I have kind of where we're meeting, what we're doing, and then because it's a spotlight hour, we can update what we have here. So it features Lily. And we have 2 times Catch Candy next week. And then for our location, hopefully one day this kind of gets changed, but as it is now, you can type in your location, which is then going to default to a pin location. But as soon as you move where that pin is to show where you're actually meeting up, annoyingly, it then becomes like your longitude and latitude coordinates. So we are meeting over here. So I'm going to put the actual pin as where we're actually meeting up, just to kind of help people find us a little bit better. And especially if they're kind of new to coming over to the group, but like you can see there, it then changes the actual location name, but I do at least have our location name up in the description there. Because I am the community ambassador and I am planning on attending this event, I can now click off the hosted by community ambassador so that people can see that they will get a reward. And then there's now this here where you can then link it up to an actual event. This is more so important for the community ambassador meetups, just because then it will make sure that people are getting the proper rewards. When they first kind of put this in, there was a whole bunch of problems with kind of the different time zones of people accessing different things at different times. So this has now kind of been the solution for that. So once, right, and you can add a photo to make it more fun. There. So once you kind of have all that done, you can click continue. It will then prompt you to invite everybody or specific people. Because this one's just kind of a, hey, we're just going to walk around for spotlight hour. I tend not to actually invite everyone to this, but you do you, kind of whatever works for your group best. It will then bring you to kind of this little preview page. And then once you're happy with it, you can click create meetup. If you need to change anything with your meetup, you can click back on it. You can then click on those 3 little dots, which will then give you the option to edit the meetup. Or if you then wanted to kind of share it over to your group, like let's say you didn't invite everybody, but then you wanted to pop it into a channel that it might be relative to for people who are paying attention to that, you can do that as well. And then if you kind of go over to the map, it will then show all of these meetups that are happening. So we can scroll down to the lake to where we kind of hang out, and then you'll see that that one is there. So then another suggestion that Brandon Tan did have for us was to change kind of that pin location of where it is if you are kind of planning things out in advance, just so that you don't end up with a whole bunch of events stacked on top of each other. So you can just kind of, slightly drag the pin to slightly different spots so that it would then show them all kind of staggered around there rather than them stacked on top of each other. So that is kind of all for creating an event. So hopefully that is helpful.